G'day, after 2 weeks we're back here at the map. This week DOSA celebrate Jack Riewoldt's 100th as the Old Scholars top 4 starts to take shape. In SFL, have Claremont peaked too early? Peach and I try and make sense of their demolition at the hands of the Two Blues. Jodie Mather is in to talk SFLW, and we've got all your picks from social media. All that and more here on the map. Welcome back to the map. My name's Tubes Taylor, and I'm joined on the panel, of course, every week by my man on my left. Peachy, welcome back, mate. It's been a break.
It's been amazing. I've been lonely. I've just been wandering Tasmania looking for solace, but finally we're back together again. It's great to be here.
Great to have you back, mate.
Thanks,
and
mate.
of course, on my right, joined by the captain of the Roosters, Sam Peacock. Thanks for coming in, mate.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
It was a big week of SFL footy, mate. You're going to go through the results.
Yeah, so Lindisfarne, they got over top of Claremont, and now Lindisfarne have crept back up. They're on top of the ladder, so look out for the Blues. Huonville Signet, the massive rivalry down there in the valley, and it was Huonville that got the win. And Hobart, they got another couple of win victory over Brighton. And Sorella New Norfolk had a close game with New Norfolk getting the victory late in the day.
Yeah, that's a big win for New Norfolk, I reckon, over there. And I've got the Old Scholars results. OHA had a massive win over St Virgil's. Richmond defeated University by about 19 points. And your boys, Sam, the Roosters, had a massive win over the Lions.
Yeah, huge win for us. Needed to beat Hutchins just to separate ourselves from them and make sure we can get into finals. So it was a great win.
Just looking at the ladder, that win puts you 2 games outside of Hutchins there, who are languishing at 5th on the ladder. So it gives you a bit of gap.
Yeah, so we've got the 2 games and a lot of percentage. So it's been a huge win for us, and yeah, we definitely set ourselves for it.
A really big game over there at Coimbra, Peach. It was pretty muddy. We're going to have a look at some vision here now.
I was interested. I mean, quarter time was pretty close. That first quarter was relatively close.
Yeah, a lot of the boys said when they came in at quarter time that the game was on and it's there to be won, and we responded, which was good.
Who do you think out of the Hutchins team were people with the look out? I mean, you've been at DOSA for a long time, Sam. Who were the players that you look at Hutchins to be the key players you had to shut down on the week?
Well, normally we look at Lewis Franks. His delivery by foot is always really good. Jamie Clark in the middle is always getting the ball out. And then obviously their forward line with Triffett, Williamson, normally Leach are very key targets. So.
Yeah, Leach is out, I think, at the moment with perhaps a broken hand or a finger, something like that. But Michael Fisher's been big for you this year, mate, a big recruit over from Clarence. How did you see his game?
Huge. So, it's very handy to have an on-baller that can kick multiple goals, especially as consistently as he does it. So he's a huge part of our team.
And Caden Wilson as well down there playing full forward, yeah?
Yeah, he plays mainly down at forward, so it's good to have a nice target. It's probably something we've lacked at DOSA the last few years. So.
But Kyle Chamberlain, mate, tell us about him, because he's a name that I haven't heard before. He's new to your club. He
is. It's his first year at the club. He's a good mate of Briggers. Came from the mainland and has just slotted in nicely into the back line. And he's probably one of the most loved guys at the club, so it's great having him up there.
What about the rest of the side? I had a chat to Vici a few weeks ago when we covered a game at TCA ground. He said there's a lot of youth, but a few younger guys. But there's a lot of players that have played for DOSA for a long time.
Yep.
What's the reason that DOSA are a club that people want to stay? I mean, you've been there for 9 years. What's the reason?
Yeah, so it's something, especially in the Old Scholars, it's hard for a lot of the teams to keep all the players together. So it's something that the board has really worked on at DOSA, is to make sure that we retain our players that we get up there. And I think it's just a matter of having a good culture, good facilities, and obviously winning helps as well. So
what drew you initially from North Hobart up to DOSA?
Friends. So I've got a lot of good mates up there, and it was just time for me to go. So.
You are, of course, son of Wayne. You told me to mention that because it wouldn't be right without mentioning Wayne Peacock. But you recently played your 150th game up there at the Roosters, mate, and there was another milestone on the weekend. Yeah,
so Jack Riewoldt played his 100th game. And he's been a pivotal part of our team the last couple of years.
That's you on your left
there, mate.
Yeah, right on your left.
Left footer straight into the mud pit down there at Coimbra.
Only one I hit.
Now, you guys are playing at Coimbra today. It's obviously a Hutchins home game, but you're also training there at the moment.
Yeah, so because of the redevelopment with the TCA, the council obviously doesn't want to wreck the ground, so Hobart and ourselves are training at different grounds just for the remainder of the year.
Does that give you an advantage when you play Hutchins at home?
Oh, I'm sure it does. We've always had a pretty bad record at Coimbra, so training on there throughout the year has really helped us get a couple of wins there, so it's good.
And the ladder is just hard to know who's been favoured. I mean, University for a while, and DOSA, OHA. Richmond, we had Gilmore on here a few weeks ago. He reckons they're the best team of the comp.
Yeah.
Other than yourself, who do you think's the team to beat come September?
Like you said, there's especially on the weekend playing Hutchins. We never wanted to play Hutchins in the finals. They're always quite tough to beat come that time of the year. So yeah, it's open slather, and obviously I'm going to back ourselves to win it. But Richmond have got some form in finals, so they'll be hard to beat.
So, mate, you're a big ruckman as well. I really like the way he goes about it. What can you tell us about him?
Reece.
Yeah. Reece
Come from rugby, mate. He's he's a bit of a fan, or everyone loves him up at the club. He's just hard at it, and the way he trains and prepares for a game is really lifted a lot of the other boys. Coming from a rugby background, he's just so hard at it and so fierce and tackles like a maniac, so it's good to have him around.
He looks big with the long sleeves on too. The fact he's
got to hide the big guns in the long
massive.
sleeves. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well, he's the shortest ruckman I've ever seen, mate, but he certainly puts up a fight. So.
Got long arms like Jai Rogers in that photo that we might have up on screen. Now, Bill Trethewey has been inducted into the Hall of Fame for the AFL for Tasmania. That's fantastic for the man down there from university. So congratulations to Farmer Bill. Sam, we're going to leave it there, mate, but I got a very special gift here for you, the 6-pack of Furphy, mate. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a real treat, mate. I'm sure we'll try and get you back before the end of the year. We're going to take a quick break now, thanks to our sponsors, of course, Furphy and Jackson Motor Company. Joined now in the studio by coach of the Lindisfarne Lady Blues, Jodie Mather. Welcome.
Hey, how you going?
Thanks for coming in. You're also the coach of the inaugural SFL Women's Rep side.
I was, yes.
It was a bit of a tough day up there at York Park, but still a great experience.
Yeah, look, it was a really tough day at the office for us, but really important for female footy that we had a rep game, and obviously now we look to next year to try and improve and develop and make it a bit more competitive in the scoreline.
Of course. A couple of standouts for me were Kaylee Stubbs and Ruby Campbell, obviously players that you don't play with in your club, but they were really good.
Yeah, I've played football with Kaylee before, and she was really strong for us down back, and I guess I was a bit nervous that if we hadn't have had her, the scoreline might have been even bigger, but she was really good on the intercept for us and cleared the ball really well. And Ruby just ran all day, so she's a player from uni and a key midfield player for them, and she was really, really valuable for us.
Peach, you're going to go through the results for the SFLW this week, mate. Quite a few one-sided affairs.
Yeah, unfortunately Norfolk still 0-0-0, but I mean it's great that they're competing and participating, so they lost to North Hobart by quite a substantial margin. North East Suns still also had a big victory in University, unfortunately didn't score as well. Lauderdale, they had a tight game against the Port and they got up in a close one, and Lindisfarne of course had a very big victory over the Mont at home.
A big day out there at Lindisfarne.
Yeah, we were a bit nervous. We came off the bye and there was a round off a competition bye the week before. So we traditionally have been bad coming off 2 weeks. So I threatened the girls and said, you better actually bring something good. And Claremont had actually overtaken us on the ladder. So we were pumped and trying to get second spot back. Which
now, speaking of the ladder, we've got that up on screen now. The South East Suns are well and truly in charge on top, but you're happy to be in second position, that we've heard? Yeah,
look, the pressure's off us a little bit in second spot, and I think next time we play the Suns we can be competitive. They're obviously the benchmark at the moment, so I'm reasonably happy with the underdog tag.
And you think the top five won't change too much for the rest of the season?
No, look, I think the top five's probably set. I mean, obviously they're probably banking on a few upsets in the second half of the season, but I think it would be pretty difficult to upset the top five.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about how you came to the Lindisfarne Lady Blues, because essentially you created it. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, basically the SFL came into fruition last year, and I previously had been a state league player who was injured, and recognised that there was only one team on the Eastern Shore, being the Suns, and obviously they're a bit further south, and being a former Clarence player, probably thought that there was an opportunity to have a local regional team that could work with them in a partnership, and so got a team together probably 4 weeks before the season last year, and just got on social media and put the call out and said, was anyone keen? And
was that your method? Just ring everyone you know, maybe?
Yeah. I hassled everyone that I knew and got together the most random bunch of girls. I've got a couple of social workers, a few teachers, and we had 13 girls that had never played footy before. Some of them had never played team sport before.
So, Jodie, on that, is it about teaching or coaching, particularly those younger players that hadn't got any experience?
It's a mix of both. So I was really fortunate that being a state league player, I attracted some previous state league players who had retired back into the game, and they were really useful for me in teaching the basic skills. I am relatively new to footy myself, and so there's only so much I can teach. And so as a group, we just kind of worked together and started teaching people how to kick, and got a few guys who play footy that I know to come along and help out when they could, and we just kind of made the rest up as we went along.
And you transitioned from netball, state league netball player, coach. How's that been into a completely new sport like AFL?
Yeah, and I think that was the reason that I was attracted to go to AFL. It was after 13 years in state league netball, it was nice to go and learn something new and be coached myself. And then I've ended up being a coach again somehow, but it was really good. I went to Claremont and had 3 years under Andy Smith and learnt a lot about the game, and I think going from a ball sport to a ball sport, even though they're different shapes, there's a lot of transferable skills, and I find myself going, that's a netball drill I could actually change to a footy drill. And
do we need to have zones in AFL to stop the congestion?
Let's not get too deep here, Peach. But a Cinderella story last year. You said you started the team 4 weeks before the season started.
Yep.
You went on to win the premiership against a much more favoured Suns outfit.
Yeah.
How was that feeling?
Yeah, it was great. We actually played the Suns in our very first game together, and I think we lost by about 60 points. And so we kind of went... I know I walked away from that game and went, oh God, what have I done here? This is going to be a really long season. And then with so many new players to the game, the growth over following weeks was just huge. And the next time we played the Suns, we actually beat them by a point. And then we had some close encounters for the rest of the year. So, it was. We were very excited grand final day, and I think it was something that we dreamt and hoped that we could achieve. So to actually get the win on the day was really big for us.
An incredible feat, really. And so I guess the message that you may be sending to the university sides down there, the Port, of course, New Norfolk and the Hobart Tigers, who are probably struggling at this moment. Do you have a message for them as far as their season goes this year and next year and years into the future?
Yeah, look, I think the key thing is stick with it. The results will come, and everyone has a big loss every now and then, and I think you just have to work your way through, and you see that in the men's competition. So in the AFL competition, in the statewide competitions, there are some massive margins, but if you just stick with it, you'll work through that patch and you'll attract players. And I think the key thing for female footy at the moment is just creating that pathway so there's regional clubs that girls can go and play at.
Jodie Mather, you have been a treat to have on the show, our first female guest on the map, and of course you get the 6-pack of Furphy right there, so thanks very much for joining us, Jodie. We're going to quickly throw now to a blast from the past. It is a Jack Riewoldt interview. You got to check this out. We'll be right back in just a few moments.
Back there, Gnorky player, man in front, didn't have it long enough. Good call from the umpire. Slung to the ground, good vision. There's Cooney. Cooney gets it to the top of the square, can't quite bring down the mark. It falls to the front though. Gets the hand passed away. Here's another one. Strolls in, kicks a goal. Riewoldt, Jack Riewoldt. The smaller men are there. They've got runners. On he goes now, kicks it over to McVilly. McVilly, he's been good also. Into the goal square, mark. There is a runner to kick the goal. There's another one for Clarence. They're on their way home.
14, number 7, Jack Riewoldt.
How you going, mate? Good win?
Thanks. Yeah, it was great. Unbelievable.
The 4 goals, performed pretty well down forward.
4 goals, 6 or something silly like that. They didn't have the quick kick and boot on.
Gets pretty sweet, mate, grand final.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Be the last one here this year though, mate, after the big time next year.
If it happens, it happens, but I'm quite happy to stay here at Clarence the rest of my life because I love it.
Good luck to you, mate, anyway, great win.
Rightio, so there we go. Jack Riewoldt just saying he's happy at the Clarence Roos. I wonder whether they'll be signing him next year.
Yeah, well, Richmond, they might be a bit worried. They think Jack's going to end his career with the Clarence Roos. That could be the case.
I'm quite happy to stay here at Clarence the rest of my life.
Yeah, well, he's certainly a champion of our game and a premiership player now.
Tell you what, who was a champion? Our last guest, Jodie.
She certainly was. Now, Peach, you're going to run through the SFL results in a little bit more detail.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a movement in the ladder, I suppose, in the last few weeks. Huonville Signet, one of my favourite games of the year. We covered it last year on Duff TV. Really tight game, seesawing affair. Signet got the jump early, and then Huonville got back, but you've got some injury news.
I do. Injury news. Mickey Paul fractured and dislocated his finger. It came through the skin and then went to the hospital and found out he had a broken thumb on the other hand.
What have they done, X-rayed his whole body or something?
Well, I'm not sure what happened there, but he's got 2 casts on.
Right.
So he'll be out for weeks. Not sure how many, but it will be multiple.
That's a significant loss, you'd imagine.
Huge.
Sorrel, they tackled New Norfolk. I think Sorrel would have been thinking this could have been a win for them. Fairly close, but look, New Norfolk's class, they ground the game out and they got a couple of goal wins.
And they're liable to do anything in finals, New Norfolk.
Knows? They love the sniff of September, don't they? The liniment tastes a little bit more delicious, doesn't it, in the Valley of Love? And the other game, Hobart-Brighton. Now, Brighton probably came to this match thinking, oh, going to be another loss. Really competitive first quarter. And then Hobart with big Sammy Reeves up for bag 6. Just grounded out after half-time. Hobart were very impressive.
Now, the game we were at, the Lindisfarne Claremont game out there at Lindisfarne, it was a big game because it was the Alex Harris Memorial game. Hall Payne lawyers were chucking in $100 per goal to the Harris family.
That's great.
Charity of choice, and they managed to kick a few out there. I think they kicked 20. Yeah, 20.
Yeah, but 3 weeks ago, we would have said this is game of the year and it will be tight, it'll be close. You and I have seen Lindisfarne Claremont quite a few times and at Anzac Park, but our man, Cassidy, bag 6. Roberts kicked 5. That's 11. That's one more goal than Claremont kicked for the whole game for the whole team combined.
I don't envy Brody Lang out there either, having to match up against the big man Cassidy. But Cassidy's been due a big bag again.
Yeah, always a difficult ground, I reckon. It's a narrow ground, similar size shape to North Hobart. And he runs under the ball a little bit with the way they deliver it, but when he gets going, he's nearly unstoppable.
He certainly is. He's a big unit, as we see. It's the Michael Cassidy show here at Lindisfarne. Now, I don't think that Claremont, we should write them off because they are a champion side. And again, similar to New Norfolk, the way they are at finals time, they can do anything. Yeah,
no, Claremont are used to finals. I mean, we had Jock on here a few weeks ago. He didn't actually say Claremont, and at that stage, Claremont were on top of the ladder. He didn't say Claremont were by far the best side. He actually mentioned Lindisfarne as the most dangerous team, and Claremont being, as competent. But it's really compacted that top bit of the ladder. And you got Huonville, who I think are an excellent side, who play a different brand of footy, and I think Huonville play a final style footy. Lindisfarne, they play a really neat, and they probably play the best style. They don't really seem to miss Cunliffe, which is quite extraordinary.
And as you said, we just saw Tommy Roberts there kicking goals. He's an elite user of the footy, and to get 5 in a game is magnificent for him. But they have winners across the whole ground, Lindisfarne. I can't, unless they get a few injuries, perhaps.
Yep.
I'm not sure how they're going to go, as we see a little bit of push and shove here.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Tennick, Fazakali, some other good tools that kind of run through the ground. They've got ample players that they can move. I think, I'm not going to say they're the favourite again. I still think it's really tight, and I think Claremont will bounce back. And Claremont struggle a little bit, don't they, at Anzac Park? They like the wider ground at Abbotsfield, but on the last few times Lindisfarne have been over there, I should say Claremont, they've struggled a little bit.
Scotty Jones just tried to kick that one across the top of the Tasman Bridge there. So well done to the Lindisfarne Footy Club on their big win out there at Anzac Park. And of course, the Alex Memorial game, and thanks to Hall Payne Lawyers for donating that $2,000 to charity.
Awesome,
that's excellent.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So now, Peach, let's take a look at the SFL ladder.
Yeah, as we sort of mentioned, it's sort of Claremont are kind of dropped down. Lindisfarne are on top. They've got a game on, Huonville and Claremont. Signet are kind of in the mix, as well as Hobart. I keep forgetting about Hobart, but they're very much still in the mix. But the mover, the dangerous, the scary mover from the Valley of Love, the Eagles, New Norfolk, are on the charge, maybe.
Don't write off Dodgers Ferry either, ladies and
Dodgers
gentlemen.
Ferry too. They've been really good this season. They've just slipped a little bit. Percentage has hurt as well. So it's getting really intriguing with about a quarter of the season left.
Now, we've got some picks from around the grounds here. Now, one of these at the end is going to be one from you, but there we go. We've got Jock McGregor out there at Sorrel taking a look across his side down there at Pembroke Park.
There's some fantastic wood fires there at Sorrel. They've got a couple of great little fires out the front of that club room.
Jock said when he was here that they've got some money for that, so that's really good that they're going to renovate that. There's, look, is that Marcus Parker?
Might be Marcus Parker.
Yeah,
with a beard on.
Just scooping one up as we see someone getting sandwiched there between two Sorrel players. And a brilliant tackle, probably a little bit high for my liking.
Yeah, may have got a free kick for that one.
And who's that there, Peach?
Jake King. Well, look at 200th game.
Yeah.
Another milestone for an Eagles, which is a good sign. They're actually retaining players up there in the Valley of Love.
A stalwart of the Eagles up there. Congratulations, Jakey. And now we've got the umpires, the people that make our game possible, of course. We must acknowledge their role throughout our great game. And, of course, there from the Old Scholars is Big Jai Rogers celebrating with a tin above his head. Look how long his arm is.
That might be just be, at the camera angle. They do look like long arms, don't they?
Now, we've got one more here. Two more, actually. There's our cameraman, Martin Duffy, up there at Kempton filming some STJFL action at Kempton Oval.
I wonder if you could even see the players. It looks a little foggy there, doesn't it, on a Sunday morning?
Yeah, pretty damp. And the next one, the final one.
Yeah, well, Peter Holmes out there, I don't know if he watches the map. He's been getting most of my pictures I put up as the fastest person on the Facebook to say which ground. I've got a few more, Peter, so look out, mate. I'm going to try and see if I can stitch you up. If he manages to keep getting them, I think we're going to invite him onto the map.
Just take a photo of the paddock, any old paddock, you'll probably be able to name it wherever it is. All right, that's it for this week here at the map. Now, next week, we are filming SFLW Claremont versus North Hobart. We're going to head up to the SFL New Norfolk versus Huonville, which is be a big game up there at Boyer. And, of course, in the Old Scholars, we will be at OHA versus Richmond over at the Shipyard.
That'll be a ripper.
It will be a beauty. Peach, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Tubes. Wonderful to be back.
Yeah, it is good to be back. Thanks so much for joining us out there. My name's Tubes Taylor. We'll see you next week here on The Map.